Yeah, tough road game against South Alabama. Undefeated in conference, undefeated on the year, extremely talented team. Didn't get the outcome we wanted. We went into halftime and it was 0-0, but obviously second half, they were fantastic. And I think it was just a perfect storm. We were very poor in certain areas of the game. They were fantastic in nearly every area of the game, and they scored 5 and we let in 0. And I tell you what, I'd like to speak on Natalie Mays for a second, because if it wasn't for that young lady, it could have been more. She stepped into the goal as a true freshman for her first career start, and she was incredible back there. She made some saves that we've never seen before. Her athleticism, her composure, her commanding of our box, she done really well on Sunday, and she gave the team definitely a boost of confidence throughout that first half. But you know, we need some other players to step up in those moments and not just carry it on one person. But you would never have guessed that she was a true freshman after that game. And I'm really proud of her performance. And I hope that she knows that as well, because she's going to be moving into the rest of the year in a very good spot if she can understand how good she played on Sunday. So rolling into Thursday's game, we play against Arkansas State. We will be home, which will be nice, home for the next 2 of the 3 games. They pose a different threat than South Alabama, completely different style of play. So it'll be interesting this week to prepare for that. They've had some really good results. They've not lost in the last 4 games, so they'll be coming in with some confidence. They've changed a couple of things each game that goes in, so our preparations will still need to be on ourselves rather than the opposition. There won't be a lot of tactical stuff for us to plan on, just because of what they can change game to game. So we'll be coming in and making sure that we can tune up in some things that really let us down in the second half, especially with us when we had the ball. So as long as we can improve on those moments for Thursday, I think we'll be good. And then we'll hit our last road trip of the year going into Troy, which is a really, really difficult place to play. South Alabama and Troy 2 weekends ago, they were even on the shot chart, and South Alabama just nicked a 1-0 win. They've had some really close games, and their coach does a really good job of organising them defensively, and their press is very aggressive. So on the road on a Sunday again, that's going to be a really challenging game for us. But they all are in this conference. This conference is really, really good this year, and the results that we're seeing from some teams are showing it. But we'll take it one game at a time, and we're excited for Thursday's game against Arkansas State.
When you look at just the way the second half went, what's the most frustrating thing? Was it the effort wasn't there?
No, that's one thing we can never take away from this group. This group, their effort to every single attention to detail is relentless. They move through everything. They study through everything. Their effort is there. What's the frustrating thing is that we can put halves together, like the first half against South Alabama, or the 90 minutes against Old Dominion, or the 90 minutes against South Florida, or the 90 minutes against Southern Miss. And then we've got moments where we play the second half like we did against South Alabama, or the first half that we did against James Madison. Those are the moments that's a little frustrating that we just have to solve. And I think it just comes down to having those moments in the game when you need to have a little bit of composure. You need to have those moments when as soon as you win the ball in transition, you can keep it or you can cause some issues. If we had just got the ball and in those moments we had 1 or 1v1 battles, or we had a little bit of combination play to give us that little bit of boost and say, okay, we're in this fight, we're in this game, we can still go and create something. We didn't have that on Sunday. And when you don't have those moments, you just feel as if you're defending for the whole game. And I think that was a struggle on Sunday.
Gotcha.
If you look at the score sheet, it can be really deceiving, a 5-0 loss. But you mentioned that those 5 goals were scored in the second half for South Alabama, and they were really great shots for South Alabama. You're always a coach who takes away, even from a loss, you find something to take away. What have you taken away from the loss yesterday, and what have you learned? What have you been able to teach your girls so far going into this next week?
Well, today's an off day, so we'll regroup tomorrow. And when we regroup tomorrow, we'll be able to show them how tactically savvy they were. They really went in with a game plan. And you look at that first half, they just moved really, really well. We frustrated South Alabama. They couldn't create the chances that they wanted to. And then the second half came, and it just took those moments. They went a little bit more expansive. They had a couple of different rotations. They got their key players in key areas, and they just went at us and went at us. So we stayed relentless on the defensive side to make sure that their chances that they had to get were earned. We didn't have any failures on our end where at the start of the year we gave up some goals because of our mistakes. South Alabama earned all of those goals. All 5 of them were earned. They were better than us in those moments. But for us to walk away and say they earned it, we didn't mess up, that's a big thing for us. It means that what we're doing, our preparations, our planning, our output in the game is good. They were just better than us on the day.
When coming kind of towards the end of the regular season, is there a focus that has to switch, or you don't do that until you actually finish the?
Yeah, we can't do that until we finish the regular season. You know, someone asked me about that earlier. Start of the last year, same thing. I think there were still like 6 spots up for grab at the tournament, not seeding, like at the tournament in the last game of the year last year. It was waiting for teams to win and lose and see what was happening. And right now, looking at it, I think there's a whole group of people standing between 4 and 10 points with 3 games left. So those 9 points can swing so many things for us. So we're just taking it one game at a time. Anything can happen. I mean, if we got a good outcome today and then a negative outcome after that, then it can change things, and vice versa. If it's a negative outcome on Thursday and then a positive outcome, that can change things. We just need to go in and make sure that we're still focusing on everything that we can do to challenge the outcome of a game, and not looking ahead of ourselves about seedings and who other people play and if they're home, they're away, how does this impact things. That's when we start to lose focus, and that's where we'll start making our mistakes again, rather than if we go into a game making the outcome of the game our decision rather than someone else's.
If you look at this team comparison to last year, you guys are really much better than what you were last year. If you look at wins and stat wise, how do you tell this team and keep them encouraged and saying your leagues of where you were ahead? I see the improvement, but also keep them hungry to say we're not where we want to be yet.
What's fantastic is that we haven't had to talk about this year to last year, because the internal motivation of this group of young athletes is so driven compared to last year that it doesn't matter for us to look at the record or the goals we've scored or conceded. They're leaving each game, even in the wins, going, we want another one. We want another win. We want to be better. We want to get to practice on Tuesday, and we want to evolve and grow. And that's what's fantastic, is we don't have to sit down and go, don't worry about this. Don't look at the games last year that we had, right? Is the fact that we're able to just have the game, regardless of the outcome. Everyone after the game, you can see the discussions, you can see their thoughts. They're all looking at how to get better and how to evolve. And as a coaching staff, that's fantastic for us.
Do you feel like in the next couple of games coming up that you guys need to maybe like change your approach on to how to, let's say, to take on the next team?
I don't think so. And that's where the distraction of losing 5-0 to South Alabama, that's where we could get lost in, right? We have to appreciate how good of a team that is. I think they're 24th in the RPI right now. I mean, you're talking top 25 team in the nation. If we lose away from that and we change our approach worked against Southern Miss. Our approach worked earlier on in the year against other teams in conference in Old Dominion and South Florida and some other results we've had in our favor. So I don't think we're going to leave that game and say we need to change our approach. There's definitely some principles in the game that we didn't execute to the highest level that we definitely need to change for the game coming up on Thursday, but not the approach or the preparation, because I think we went in and we saw that in the first half, 0-0 against South Alabama. You got to be comfortable with that away from home.
How different is Arkansas State from South Alabama? What is the difference in their approach, switching up from a very aggressive offense in South Alabama to maybe a not so aggressive offense in Arkansas State?
You nailed it. It is, you went at 180 degrees. You went from a team that like to possess and switch it and are going to leave the game with 500 passes, and then you play Arkansas State and they're going to get the ball wide and they're going to put it in the box and they're going to compete for first and second balls inside the box. So it's a completely different team. It's a completely different outlook, but that's good for us. It'll be nice to face something different, and I think that's going to be good for us to then not be in a tactical situation for the whole 90 minutes. Let some of these competitive challenges come out. Let some of these 1v1 battles, some of these 2v2 battles come out, and I think that will go in our favor.